Hello there, this is DBT and this is Art of Rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt Legends Unite. And today, I'm gonna be driving in multiplayer one of the most powerful cars in the entire game. You have seen it, you know it, you're probably hunting for it. It is the Hennessy Venom F5, and I shall play with it with a free try that there's available in what is probably the most hated multiplayer mode so far. But before I jump into it, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel, because doing these things help the channel to continue to grow, and in that way I can continue making this content for you. So, if you want some more alu right here, like and subscribe. But alright, before we actually go into the multiplayer side of this video, I want to quickly show you what's been going on with the Stars and Stripes Stars and Stripes Reignited event. This obviously being the showcase event in which you are able to unlock this car so long as you commit to it. Now, I already made a video talking about this whole thing, what are your chances to get it. I'll put the link in the top right if you want to watch that, but the short of it is you can unlock this car for free so long as you have about 2,000 and some tokens saved. That's all you need in order to acquire this car, so yes. Now, what has been my progress in it? Well, I already unlocked this car in this account. I have it at 1 star plus 1 blueprint. And yeah, obviously that's not necessary. Oh, and by the way, this was a ×4 drop. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So yeah, I've been buying my blueprints for that, some other cars as well, hoping to unlock the BXR Bailey. I keep on working on getting my 4GT Mark IV. In case you haven't noticed, by the way, the drops for this car tend to be what is it called? Stock available. So even though this is 2 blueprints only, I can buy it twice and that gives you 4. But again, coming back to the Hennessy Venom F5, well, there it is. I have it at 1 star. It is mine. Fantastic. I would love to be able to take it maybe to the 2nd star. I'll try, but I don't know what are my chances over there. Still, there's like 5 more days left to go in this event, so I might do some more refreshes for tokens and hoping that I can take this thing to the 2nd star, you know, just for the sake of it. But even here, at 1 star, the maximum rank being of 4,000, man, that's pretty high. But look at that speed. This is a straight up stock. The car's at bone stock and it goes 500 kilometers an hour. Acceleration of 76, handling of 41 doesn't look very good, and nitro very low at 24. Though the handling, well, really the power of this car rather than the handling itself, it's the drift. But anyway, let's talk about multiplayer. And like I said, there's a free try for the car right now, so there's the stats of the car at gold, top speed of 512. Well, first, rank of 5114, it's amongst the highest rank in the car, highest ranked cars in the game, though by now this car is out of Class S Elite, so keep that in mind. Top speed of 512. As you can see, the speed doesn't go that much higher once it's properly at gold. It's 12 kilometers, which is a bunch, but you know, it's not that much. Acceleration does increase quite a bit, getting to 80.66, handling of 49.07, and nitro 45.61. Now, like I said, this car really, obviously the top speed is crazy, the acceleration is but where this car really shines, it's the drift. This thing, Jesus Christ. Let's get into some races and we can talk about this green streak mode. And unsurprisingly, everybody's driving the Venom, so it's literally an 8 Venom race. But green streak mode, I've been meaning to make a video talking about this game mode, and I might still do a bigger, or I guess deep dive into this game mode, because I think it's a very interesting one. It's massively hated by just about everybody, but I actually, as the contrarian that I seem to be, I actually have found it very, very interesting. Now, it is a difficult game mode to play, and I think that's what makes it frustrating for so many people, but I find it very, very interesting because, oh god, look at this drift, it's ridiculous. Oh god. Oh, thank you for taking it out. Jesus. I think this is a very interesting game mode that makes you play in a different way, and that is something that I appreciate. And probably I should give this as a bit of a context as to why things that are different are interesting to me. I am also, you may know that I also play a lot of Asphalt 8. And in Asphalt 8, for the longest time, we haven't gotten a single innovation in terms of gameplay in a very, very, very long time. So it's been the same thing over and over. And one could argue, well, if it works great, then you don't need to continue improving, right? Or if it already works, why fix what it ain't broken type of mentality. But the reality is that, man, it really, when there's nothing new for years and years and years, you really go into like, oh man, I wish there was something else. All right, I'm gonna go with a 3rd place in this race, which wasn't too bad, all things considered. All right. But yeah, I mean, everything is Venom, so I don't really need to go over what I'm racing against. So the reason why I brought Asphalt 8 into this conversation is precisely because I'm so used to just playing the same thing over and over and getting bored of it, that when I see something new, even if it's a little bit strange, like this mode is, it is very interesting to me, because it shakes up things in a way that is like, oh, wait. So you're saying that now I have to play this game in a different way. It's not the same as usual. Ooh, that to me is very interesting. But all right, let's talk about this game mode itself. The green streak mode obviously is where the further ahead you are in the race, the less nitro that you get from things that would give you nitro. So nitro bottles, drifting, 360, barrel rolls, all of that stuff. If you're all the way at the back of the pack, you're gonna be getting so much nitro, it's ridiculous. And if you're all the way at the front, you get a lot less nitro. Now, they even said it when they announced this game mode. The whole intention of this game mode is to make it more, to make the first place more challenging, you know? Yeah, you might be on first place, but you're gonna be playing at a disadvantage at that point, and everybody that is behind you is gonna be... Look at this drift, man. I mean, I didn't do this drift fantastic, but Jesus Christ, you have experienced this. If you know how to do floaties, you probably have done this turn so much better than I have and enjoy the insane drift of this thing. But anyway, the whole thing is indeed to make it so that people that are further back have a better chance to catch up. People that are in the front are gonna have a harder time to staying in the front. Now, there is a bunch of different things to consider when it comes to this. For example, in this race, you saw that guy in first place, who obviously drove so much better than I did, was able to just stay in front all the time. Any nitro difference made absolutely no difference. So there's something to be said about that skill still prevails in this game mode, but it's a different type of a skill, or so I believe. Now, it's gonna be a little bit abstract for me to talk about this because indeed I would love to do a full dedicated video on this, and I hope that I will. But my point is that if you know how to play this game with cars that have a very low nitro, you are probably going to be able to do okay in this game mode. Because once you are in first place, all you need to do is manage your nitro, and then you're good. Well, not only manage your nitro, but also manage your top speed. And that is why I wanted to play with this car, because man, this thing goes so fast, but it's actually kind of hard to get to your top speed. It's not super easy to get there. So for example, over here, this is what I like doing. Just try to drive in the most basic way possible, in the sense of I'm even pretending that there's no such thing as nitro. I'm steering as lightly as possible to try to keep as much speed as I can with my limited skill, and only in specific places use my nitro where it's gonna be advantageous. Other than that, in here, I'm not gonna use nitro. I'm just gonna go with my top speed and hope to turn lightly enough to not lose too much speed. And again, obviously people that have much better fine control of the cars, then they're gonna be able to do this so much better than I am. I am playing currently in my PC account, which is playing with the keyboard, so I cannot exactly do light steering, but still I'm trying. Okay, hold up. All right, hey, well, I did not catch up to that dude, but hey, look at that. I kept a second place. Why? Again, because in the way that I focus on how to play this game mode to try to be a bit more successful at it. And once again, it's basically play like you have no nitro. Pretend there's no nitro, try to keep your speed at all times. Now, obviously, I'm going very surface level with my quote-unquote explanation on how I play this game mode, but it is just a very interesting thing because some time ago, a couple years ago, I was trying to teach somebody that is not familiar at all with this game how to play it, and without using touch drive, specifically how to drive manual. And the way that I was explaining it is always look for straight lines in the game. Always look for straight lines. Forget about drifting around every corner. Try to just go as much on a straight line as you can and try to keep as much speed as possible, which is kind of what I did just now, right? I basically didn't use any nitro for that entire section, trying to keep my speed as much as possible, turning as little as I could. Now, obviously, I'm not amazing at this game. You know it, everybody knows it. It's no secret that I have my skill issues, but I think this is a good way of focusing how to play this game in manual when it comes to learning how to deal with cars that are not Huracans or Vandas that have unlimited nitro that you can use all the time to make up for the mistakes that you make. Now, again, take it with a huge grain of salt because I'm not a great player, but I do believe that this is something worth considering when it comes to this game. Going for the straight lines, pretend that you have no nitro. And that is precisely how I've been playing this game mode as well. Going as many straight lines as you can and pretend that you have no nitro. At most, I use my nitro for jumps and only when I've built a decent amount of it. But over here, I could use nitro, but what for? I'm barely gonna get anything and I'm gonna spend it all, so let me just this turn. Okay, let me try a floaty. Let's see if I can do it. All right, I don't think that was a good floaty, but hey. Now, once again, with this car that does floaties so good, even though I don't know how to do them, well, you know, you're in a bit of a situation. Hold on, can I actually... Let me see, can I keep this first place? I don't know, but I shall try. Floaty would have been smarter there, I think. But I have the nitro, so let me go for it. And... whoa, the guy's catching up, but I did keep the first place, Look at that. Now, granted, this is a track that is lends itself very much for top speed cars, so hey, but look at that. It's not very often that I get a first place, much less with a car of this caliber, but hey, maybe also people don't know how to drive it. But yes, this is basically how I've been finding myself entertaining in this game mode. Now, to be fair, like I said, it does play obviously very different than normal, because again, you cannot rely on your nitro as much if you're in a good position. And obviously I'm focusing on it from the perspective... Can I do this? Whoa, that was terrible. What just happened? That was absolutely terrible. I've been focusing on it on the perspective from being in a high position where you are not going to have nitro. But obviously, the other half of this game mode is being really quite back in the positions in the race, and you're going to be getting so much nitro that you're going to be like, what do I do with all of this nitro? So it is interesting, because I think at the end of the day, to some degree, Gamemode did achieve what they said that they were trying to achieve, which is precisely to create a game mode where people that are further back on the race are gonna have a slightly better chance to catch up to people in higher positions. And this is where things get a little bit complicated to understand why people dislike this game mode so much, because it really depends on what is the skill level of the player. If we're talking about players that are pretty... Oh man, I should have taken that jump, but we're okay. I got another first place. Look at that. Jesus. All right, I guess I'll save that thought for the next race, because that was a very short race, but hey, that's a first place. I'll take it. We're getting just so much Paris, Jesus. But not to overgeneralize, but there are different type of, let's say, winners in this game. There are the players who are just alien level players, and no matter the circumstance, they know the basics of the game so well that they can make the most of it. So those players, I don't imagine they're gonna have a problem with this game mode. But then there's also the players who do get a bunch of W's by, for example, being extremely aggressive and knocking down other players and all of that stuff. And those are the type of players who absolutely hate playing ghost mode, because it's like, oh, now I cannot knock down other players, so how am I gonna win type of situation. That's not to discredit their actual skills at playing the game, because even knocking down other players in a way that you don't lose all of your speed does require some level of skill. You need to know what you're doing. So I'm not trying to discredit them either. All I'm saying is that there are indeed different type of players that win in different circumstances. So I believe that a lot of players that really heavily dislike this game mode are the type of players who win a lot, or rather win by virtue of using nitro quite a bit. There may not be necessarily the players that are so much about, hey, I'm always gonna go for the straight line and, oh Jesus, and save my nitro for the most, oh Jesus, the most important part. And instead of the people who are gonna be like, no, I'm gonna use my nitro here, use my nitro over there, okay, I'm gonna get my speed back up in this way, you know, that type of thing. Now again, I know that that is a very gross overgeneralization of the players and why they win. But I do believe that it's that type of player who are not enjoying this game mode, because they're not used to being in this situation where there's absolutely no nitro to be had. And while they normally enjoy having the first place and running wild with unlimited nitro if they're using something like a Vanda, they find themselves over here being like, oh wait, no, they still have a lot of nitro with their Vanda, but guess what? They don't gain it back as quickly as possible, or as they could in other game modes, and they're like, oh, this is annoying, this is such a bad game mode. And we went from top speed world to twisted road. But again, with this level of drift, I would imagine that a well-driven Hennessy Venom F5 could still do really good over here. But yeah, in general, I do find it very interesting. I'm not very close-minded to this type of gameplays where they shake up things. Because, as I was saying, I think the people who dislike this game mode the most are the people who are very used to getting first places in the way that they normally get first places. And taking it, or me saying this, you know, as a not great player that doesn't often win races, finding that this game mode actually kind of slightly levels the playing field so that people that are not as good necessarily at the game, now they have a way to fight back. I think it's a bit of an interesting thing. And again, I understand the usual winners are gonna find this game mode annoying because now they're playing at a disadvantage. While I believe that wow, Jesus Christ, that was terrible by me. Well, I believe that the players that are not as good at the game, that normally have a bit more troubles, then they're finding themselves like, oh, I'm getting a lot of nitro, and I don't know why the people in the first places are slowing down, but hey, this actually gives me an opportunity. So it is a very interesting thing, and I would love to know what kind of insight is Gameloft acquiring from this game mode, because they have even asked for some feedback related to this game mode in like, oh, but how are you enjoying it, and that type of thing. And I think, unfortunately, feedback is always going to be biased towards the people who find things more negative. It's harder for people to say, I really like this, than to people to just say, oh, this is absolute garble. At least that's kind of how I see it. Ooh, we're in Osaka. Again, twisty, though this version is not super twisty, but still. So, yeah, I would be really curious to see if Gameloft has any insight as to whether or not the average player, not the skilled players that often win races, no, the average players that have their troubles getting to first places, are they enjoying it? Because I know that I'm one of those players that are not fantastically skilled in this game, and I've been finding this game a lot of fun, and not necessarily just because I get first places, because I don't always do, but hey, I got a couple in this video, it's kind of nice. But also because, like I said, this, at least for me personally, ties a lot into the way that I was trying to teach this person to play the game, and like, hey, don't worry about the nitro at all, don't worry about drifting, worry about going into straight lines and trying to keep that speed as much as possible. So, I don't know, this game mode kind of plays well with my... Oh god, that was a terrible... Oh, that was terrible, that was my fault. You saw what I was trying to do, the drift a little closer to the wall, but then I messed it up massively. It plays a little bit closer to this way that I like looking at the game on how to play it, how to learn the basics of the game when it comes to how to keep your speed going. And again, once again for the 11th time in this video, not a great player myself, so what do I know? But this is kind of how I've been seeing it, and I definitely have been enjoying this game mode when I can focus on it. And that is an important part, at least for me personally. The focus on it, because, oh boy, if I'm not in the mindset, I'm gonna do terrible. But anyway, I spent this entire video talking about the game mode rather than the car. Let's talk about the Hennessy Venom F5. Man, what a crazy car it is. Again, goes absurdly fast. Obviously, there's cars that go faster by now and all of that, but man, this level of speed with this level of drift is just absolutely ridiculous. And again, for people that... Oh god, I keep on doing terrible here. For people that are good at doing floaties, which I am not, I believe this car is an absolute powerhouse. I mean, it is already strong as it is, but man, still. And even if you're not good at floaties, oh, Jesus Christ, no! God, that was hideously bad. Yeah, terrible last race for this video, but it's fine. Still, I think even if you're not necessarily too much into the whole thing of floaties, the drift alone by this car is so ridiculously good that, man, what's not to like? And now that everybody has an opportunity to unlock the car so long as you committed, and you watch my video where I did tell you that it was possible, yeah, you should be able to get your own Hennessy Venom F5. So once again, as I always say, people save some resources, you don't know when you're gonna need them, and this car, in order to unlock it, you needed a bit of resources, but for all of this, for all of those that did have those resources, well, congratulations in unlocking your Venom and having unlocked it already, or soon to unlock it. But anyway, that's all for this video. Again, I want to go do a deeper dive into this game mode with actually clips of me playing with different cars, because that's what I found it to be very interesting, how it plays with different cars, what works better or worse, but that's for another day. For now, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye!